Have you ever stopped to think that you might be searching outside for what God has already placed inside you? It's curious how many people spend their entire lives believing they need something external, a course, a job, a person, to finally feel complete. But what if I told you that what you're searching for is already there, safely tucked away in your heart, waiting for the right moment to be revealed? Do you have the courage to look within and discover what the Creator has deposited in you? Perhaps you felt that emptiness, that persistent question, am I really chosen for something greater? That question echoes in the mind of someone who feels they were born for more but hasn't yet figured out how to tap into their own potential. And that's where the secret lies. The true treasure isn't hidden in the mountains nor in gold or worldly achievements, but in the essence that God shaped with purpose and faith. Life changes completely when a person realizes that the power to transform doesn't lie in circumstances but in what they release from within. Throughout this text, you'll see that nothing about you is by chance. Every talent, every dream, even every wound carries a divine purpose. When the chosen one awakens, they understand that what seemed like weakness was in fact an invitation to activate faith and unleash what was dormant. You know that moment when you feel stuck, like something's missing to get started? Well, that feeling is an illusion. God has already placed everything you need to fulfill your purpose within you. Every gift, every talent, every spark of faith was carefully placed there from the beginning. The problem is that often people are so busy focusing on what they don't have that they forget the treasure hidden in their own hearts. When you realize you were created complete, something shifts. Insecurity falls silent and your inner power begins to speak louder. What's missing isn't ability, it's awareness. Sometimes you need to quiet the world to hear the voice whispering, "You can." Think about it. When Moses doubted himself, God simply asked, "What is in your hand?" He already had the staff, the symbol of the power he carried without realizing it. The same applies to you. Your staff might be an idea, a forgotten talent, or courage stifled by fear, but it's there waiting. The secret is to stop looking outside and start releasing what's already been placed within. It's no use having a treasure and keeping it buried. Potential without action is like a seed that never sees sunlight. God made you abundant, but that abundance needs to be expressed. Africa, for example, is a continent incredibly rich in natural resources, yet many places live in scarcity. Why? Because wealth only brings transformation when it's extracted and set in motion. Likewise, the power within you needs to be activated, whether through faith, action, or the right word at the right time. Nothing changes until you decide to release what you have. Maybe your gift is encouraging others, creating solutions, or simply listening with empathy. But if it stays locked away, it's lost. When you act in faith, the treasure begins to bear fruit. It's like a river that only reveals its strength when it flows. It wasn't fear that brought you this far. It was God's breath that keeps pushing you forward. So stop waiting for the perfect moment. Start now with what you have, where you are, and watch the extraordinary emerge from the ordinary. How many times have you looked in the mirror and thought you needed to be like someone else? That's one of the greatest deceptions that steals peace. God doesn't make mistakes in creation. He designed you with precision, weaving details no one else has. Every trait, every story, every scar is part of the plan. Comparing yourself is like telling the Creator he got it wrong, when in fact, he knew exactly what he was doing. You weren't called to imitate, but to express what only you carry. When you accept who you are, life begins to flow in a new way. Confidence grows, and fear loses ground. There's no copy when the original is you. Walking in faith means understanding that someone else's gift doesn't cancel yours, and your mission is to manifest the grace you've received. Think about it. The sun doesn't compete with the moon, yet both shine. It's time to stop comparing and shine in your own way, because heaven already recognizes you as the chosen one. It's curious how, at times, we seek in others the fulfillment of what God promised us. Sarah did this. She doubted and tried to rush the divine plan, placing her promise in the wrong hands. How many do the same today, believing the miracle will come from outside? But God doesn't outsource purpose. He placed the promise within you, and that's where it will bloom. The treasure is internal and His timing is perfect. No external force can speed up what only faith can release. Believing, even when everything seems at a standstill, is the greatest act of trust. Sarah laughed at the promise, but God kept His word. And it's the same with you. Even when you're tired, even when you doubt, there's still something alive within you. When the chosen one chooses to believe, the impossible becomes a path. The miracle doesn't happen when we give up, but when we persist. So don't hand over what's yours. What God promised you is in the making, and the right time has already been set by Him. The words that come out of your mouth have power. They build or destroy, heal or wound, open doors or raise walls. How many times have you sabotaged yourself by saying, "I can't, it's not for me," or "I'm not capable"? Those phrases, however small they seem, weaken the spirit and block what God wants to manifest in you. Faith feeds on what you declare. If you want to see change, start by changing your speech. Say, "I can. I am chosen. God is with me." Speak like someone who believes, not someone who doubts. Sarah saw herself as too old, incapable, out of time, until she learned that God's promise doesn't depend on age, but on faith. Likewise, what you say today builds what you'll live tomorrow. Declare what you want to see, even when the circumstances seem against you. Tell yourself, "I am strong. I am blessed. I am guided by the highest's light." The universe obeys the voice of one who believes. So speak life over your dreams and watch the impossible start moving in your favor. There's a flame inside you that no storm can extinguish. Even when fear tries to blow against it, the fire of faith keeps burning, reminding you of who you are. Jeremiah tried to silence the call, but he confessed, "The word of God was like a fire in my bones." It's the same with you. That fire is a sign that God still has plans, still believes in you, still breathes hope where many have given up. Sometimes the fire seems small, almost fading, but a breath of faith is enough to rekindle it. Remember, gold only shines when it passes through the fire. The same goes for the soul of the chosen one. It's in trials that the brilliance is revealed. When everything feels tough, it's not the end. It's God refining the best in you. Stay steadfast. That flame is a reminder that the purpose is still alive, and the Creator is still writing your story with His own hands. There are days when everything feels too heavy, and it's easy to believe the heavens have forgotten your name. But it's exactly in those moments that God begins to breathe His favor over you. It's like a gentle breeze that renews strength, reignites faith, and shapes the impossible. He didn't call you to walk alone. Every step you take toward your purpose is accompanied by that divine breath. And when God's wind blows, doors open, opportunities appear, and what was dead blooms again. Faith is the channel through which this favor manifests. When you rise and act, even without seeing the outcome, heaven moves in your favor. That's how dormant gifts awaken and hidden talents come to life. Remember, it's not about deserving. It's about grace. God doesn't expect perfection. He seeks willingness. And when you say yes to the call, He breathes strength where there was exhaustion and creates paths where there was only desert. Nobody likes pressure, but it's what reveals what's hidden. Potential isn't born in comfort but in challenge. Sometimes it's in the shock that courage awakens. God uses the most unlikely situations to show you're far more capable than you think. It's under pressure that the true treasure begins to shine. Pain, fear, uncertainty, they're all tools of the Creator to push you toward growth. Think of coal. It only becomes a diamond under extreme pressure. Likewise, the difficulties you face didn't come to destroy you but to shape you. Every challenge is proof of how much God trusts your potential. So, the next time the weight presses down, remember, it's heaven preparing you to shine in a new dimension of faith and purpose. Some stories sound like fairy tales, but they're living reminders of how God manifests His power through the chosen ones. Susan Boyle, for example, spent her life underestimated, mocked, forgotten, until the day she opened her mouth and silenced the world. That voice wasn't an accident. It was the treasure the Creator had hidden in her, waiting for the right moment to be revealed. How many Susans live in silence, believing it's too late? when in reality it's just the beginning of the promise being fulfilled. That's the perfect image of how God works. He takes what we have, no matter how small it seems, and transforms it into something grand when we let Him take the stage. Just as the maestro elevated the melody, the Lord elevates our lives when we surrender control to Him. It's not about being perfect, it's about letting the divine touch complete our song. I know what it's like to feel small in the face of the call. When I started, insecurity visited me daily, and doubt whispered, "Is this really for me?" But when I took a step of faith, everything began to change. That's when the Master stepped in, adding His super to my natural. Suddenly fear turned to courage, uncertainty to purpose, and what seemed impossible became a living testimony of God's power. The same can happen with you. Don't wait to feel ready. Just take the step. When you move the first foot in faith, heaven moves mountains in your favor. The Creator doesn't need much, just your yes. He takes the ordinary and turns it into extraordinary, because that's what He does with His chosen ones. And when you release the treasure within you, you'll realize it was never about having everything, but about trusting the one who already placed everything in you.